absentees, so we're going to do the recording. So basically, goal is finish the Unit 7 test review. That's goal number 1. If time, towards the end of the period, 3 things you can do. I would focus on the top 2 first. Maybe if there's time, project. Now, Friday, that's all you're going to be doing because it's going to be probably additional review. You're ready for the test. That's taking place a week from Tuesday. So that is what's going on today. Yep. Whatever you missed it from a neighbor or school chief. All right. Anybody have any questions for me before we get started on today? So that's basically our game plan. And again, remember, got to lose the phones. Not allowed to have them. So what we're going to do, especially the rest of what we're going to be doing today, take notice. You will see similar problems on your test. I'm telling you that right now. Yeah, it's going to be next Tuesday. Because I can't give it to you on Friday because of the religious holiday, religious service situation. So your test will not be on Friday. It will be next Tuesday. But in the meantime, there will be plenty of work for you to do because what I really want to tell everybody, now let's have a great day. Here we go. Everybody, go to, I think we're going to start the second half of, we're on page what, 7, I think?
17.
Okay, problem number 17 right here. Here we go. This is where I need everybody to be, starting right now. So a couple things I want to mention. You got a rhombus. Okay, what do we know? The rhombus, all outer sides are congruent. All the outer sides are congruent. Diagonals are perpendicular. Diagonals bisect each other. Now, beware, are the diagonals congruent to each other? Not necessarily. Diagonals are not congruent. Now, diagonals bisect each other. I forgot to say one other thing about the diagonals. Diagonals bisect the angles, the outer angles. And that's going to help us. Now, the other thing we need to know. All right, so first thing we need to know, well, actually, given everything we have here, this is going to make this problem very easy. Now, an idea, if you need highlighters, colored pencils, get them now. Because when we start talking about identifying our angles, you're going to need to know which angle represents, where's our starting, where's our middle, where's our end. All right, so let's look at this. In fact, I'm going to make this bigger. So the rhombus outer sides are congruent. Let me make this, let me put this down a little. Okay, I think I have enough. All right. So outer sides are congruent. So it's here, here. And that's important because, you know what's also going to be important? This angle measure right here. Diagonals are perpendicular. So what does that mean by perpendicular? If the two diagonals, here's diagonal number 1 and diagonal number 2. If they're perpendicular, what do we know about the angle measure for each of these 4 angles that meet at that center point? 90 degrees, very good. Boom. That right there, that all 4 of these angles are 90 degrees. Bang. So that means, so they're all 90 degrees right there. Then this part, diagonals bisect each other, so that means basically these two sides are going to be the same. Also, this side and that side are going to be the same. But yet, oh, go ahead. Sorry, Des. What were you going to say? Okay, very good. All right, that's a really good start. What you said right here was this angle right here. Besides, this angle is going to be 36. Yup. And then this angle right here. Go ahead, I'm sorry. What were you going to say? Very good. And then for the J and the L, you're going to have a 54. That's right, because, yup, these 3 angles right here, 54, 36, and 90 have to add up to 180. She's right. Oops. So that's a 54. That's 54. So these are all the clues that are going to help us. Because, yeah, it looked like we didn't have enough information, but you actually had a plenty of information. Okay. Let's get back. So, given what we have here now, are we able to identify? I'm just going to erase this little part right here. Are we going to be able to identify the angle measures for all 3 of these angles in question? Do we have enough information? We do. Okay, this is where the highlighter or the colored pencil is going to be important. So if you don't have them, if you need them, get them now. I want you to get your highlighters or colored pencils right now. If you don't have them, get them now. Because it's all about identifying what's what. If you don't get them, you've got to get them now. If you need them, look behind where Christian and Andy sit. There's highlighters, colored pencils you might want to take. Good idea, Christian. You took 2. That's a very good move. Yeah, take them different colors. If you need color pencils, they're over in those bins as well. All right, so let's look at what's going on here. Highlighter. First one, K and J. Well, if we're at K, where do we go to get to N? How far down? Do I go all the way down or do I stop in the middle? Where's N? Stop in the middle. And then from N to J, which direction do I go? Up left. Now, K and J is this angle right here. What's the measurement of this angle right in the middle? That's a 90-degree angle. K to N to J. Since that turning point's right in the middle, automatic 90 degrees. So these are pointers. I would take down these pointers. Make that a little darker. Yeah, your turning point is in the middle. So if your turning point is in the middle, that's for rhombus, that's automatic 90 degrees. Or I should say in the center. Oh, sorry, Canadian English. Okay. Now, let's look at K, J, L. Starting point is K. Now notice, start at K. Where do we go? Down or to the left? Which direction from K to J? Gotta go to the left. And then from J, we go to L. So do we go down to the left or down to the right? Where's L? So think about it like a road map. The first letter is your starting point. The second is your turning. Last is your end. So how many degrees was this angle where we made our turn? How many degrees is this? From K to J down to L. How many degrees? What's this number right here? 54. That's a 54-degree angle right there. All right, now the last one. We're starting at K, going all the way to M, and then we go from M to L. How many degrees is this turning point right here? From K to M to L. How many degrees is that? Well, number's right here. 36. All right. Now, I don't know if I'm going to do this on the test. I might not, but there may be a point where I might say, you have to give me the angle measure of the outermost angle. I don't think I'm going to do that here, but who knows? But you got to beware. So if we did, for instance, just, what if we did angle JKL? How many degrees would angle JKL be? You got to be careful. Look at our diagram. So JKL. Notice how J is up in that the left corner. Go to K, then you go down to L. Be careful. Even though I see a 36, is JKL 36 degrees? You start from J. Careful. 36 plus 36. Gotta beware. Because it took the first half of that angle. Yeah. So there could be a problem like that. So beware. I don't know if I did one like that. Do beware of that type of problem where you have to look at your overall. Look at the overall angle. I know this gets a little messy. We'll get messy at times, but just be aware. Be aware of the letters. I'm just letting you all know that's what I call a cuidadito situation. More than likely, most of your problems are going to look, so your test might look like this type of problem, but don't be surprised if you see that extra number. You might have to add your two angles. So like with JKL, we had to add JKM plus MKL. You might have to do that. So beware. Okay, questions? All right. So we'll move on. Now we're going to use these rules for the next couple problems. There's quite a few problems I'm going to be dealing with the rhombus. So all the outer sides are congruent. So for this one, they said AB, 5x plus 3. There's AB. And then they said BC, 7x minus 9. Well, what do we know about the relationship between the two sides? They are single line, single line. That means these two sides are both what? Begins with a C. Congruent. So what's our setup to solve for x? Who could tell us how we're going to set up our equation to solve for x? Oops. 5x plus 3 equals 7x minus 9. All right. I want y'all to solve for the x. So that's what you're going to do. I'll give you a minute to solve for it. So, have at it. All right. Anybody solve for X? I want to hear from somebody who hasn't talked too much. Anybody get a value of X? What'd you get, Andy?
6.
Andy's saying X is 6. Agree or disagree with the 6? All right, that's a winner. I'm agreeing too. All right, anybody have questions on how we got the X equals 6? If you're not sure, you need to say something. Because if you know it, you go on. Because I don't want to waste your time, right? If you know how you got, if you're okay with that 6, you know how you got it. Move on. Anybody any questions on that? Because these problems you need to know, you should be able to solve by now. You've done plenty of work. All right, but we're going to take our X equals 6. We're going to use it for the following. We need to find out the length of BC. So we said X equals 6. That was from the last problem. All right. BC, 7x minus 9. So, if X is 6, then what would be the length of BC? Anybody get that? If you need a minute, I'll give you a minute to get it. Anna, you said what number? 33. Good. C equals 7 times 6 minus 9. C equals 33. That's right. Good job. All right, questions on that one? That's just a simple plug and chug deal. All right, now, here's where things get a little different. This one here says angle ABD. I'm going to highlight that for you. AB, start at A, go up to B, and then you go down to D. So it's this angle right here. Let me make that. Hold on, let me do that. Oops. Let me highlight ABD. A to B, and then B to D. There's your angle ABD. Now they're saying DBC. This angle right here, D, B, C. So they're saying this segment bisects this angle. So what do we know about the relationship between angle ABD, BD, and DBC? Congruent. That's right. That's exactly how we're going to do the setup. Well done. So let me do that first. Okay, so there's our setup. So now you're at that, because remember, the reason why these two angles are congruent is because the diagonal bisects the outer angle. So I'm going to throw that up there real quick. All right. Anybody get a value of x? How much? Alex says x is 11. Andy agrees. Hey, Valerie, what did you get for a value of x? All right. X is 11. So 12C, set them equal. The diagonal bisects out an angle. Set those two outer angles equal. And then the result, x is 11. All right. So, angle DBC, well, okay, we'll say x is 11. And then on your test, you will be told angle DBC. So we go back to the top real quick. I'm going to give that to you. 5x plus 1. Okay. So x is 11, angle DBC is 5x plus 1. What would be the measurement of angle DBC? Anybody get that angle measurement yet? How much? So he says 56 degrees. Agree or disagree? Okay, very good. All right, questions? So they said angle DBC. So right here, it's 56 degrees. Okay, because I think we're going to need that for the next problem. Well, if we know that this angle right here is 56, what must this angle over here be? Okay, that's also going to be 56. All right, now, I think the next problem. Okay, questions up to this point. All right. Okay, here's what happened. DBC was 56. That was this angle right here. Now, they want us to get ABC, which is the entire angle. But we said if this part was 56, then this other part is also how many degrees? All right, so we have a 56 for one side, 56 for the other. So then what must the total angle measure be for ABC? How much? Not 89. Because remember, here's what we have going on. Let me make this A, B, C. Make this a little bigger. Okay, this is a bisector, right? Split this angle right into two. So we said this TBC was 56. But then we also said DVA or ABD. How much? It's 112. ABC's the sum. Again, that's why we got to be careful, that out of angle. Angle ABC equals 56 plus 56, which equals 112. Again, we got to be careful. So DBC plus ABD. That's what we give. So ABC is that grand total. And again, that's that angle addition postulate. But we also know that since this is a bisector right here, think of it like a mirror. Your diagonal, bisector, boom, right in the middle. We found out this guy was 56. The other one has to be 56. And then ABC is that entire angle. This is going to be the whole entire thing. 56 plus another 56. That's how we get to 112. Okay, questions? So again, think about that bisector like a mirror. Whatever you see on one side, you see exactly the same on the other. All right, questions? We might do one or two more rhombus problems later on if we have time. All right. Now the next problem, I don't know if anybody's seen it, but what shape are we dealing with for the next problem? It's called into the T. That is a trapezoid. Okay, so they want us to get both angle X, angle Z. Now with a trapezoid, well, this is an isosceles trapezoid, so I think on a test, I'm just going to give you an isosceles trapezoid problem. Two things. Well, a couple things I should say. The angles. All right, I got an idea. Opposite angles are supplementary. What do we mean by supplementary? Add up to 180. The two angles add up to 180. Now, the other thing, you got to be real careful. Consecutive angles. I'm going to say between parallel lines. Are supplementary. They're going to tell you where the parallel lines are. between here. So there, between the parallel lines, you're going to notice by the arrows. So look for those arrows. If you see the arrows, those are the parallel lines. Now, the only other thing, this might also help you with the isosceles trapezoid. You kind of have a mirror kind of right between the middle. So basically, whatever you see here is a reflection of what you should see here. But I would just go by this. If you're between the parallel lines, you're supplementary. You're going across, you're supplementary. I mean, if you want to add mirror, reflection, mirror or reflection. There's your mirror reflection between. So that might be another. So you can do that for the parallel lines. Like you can put the mirror, cut it through, but don't put your mirror across the non-parallel lines. That's not going to work. The mirror has to go between, cut through the parallel lines. All right, so let's begin. Well, opposite angles are supplementary. That means they add up to 180. And the consecutive, so that means these two angles add up to 180. And you can say going across, these two angles must also add up to 180. All right, so let's cut to the chase. I'll deal with that later. Y and Z are the same. So if Y is 146, that means Z is also 146 right here. Good job. Because there's your mirror right there. Boom. Right down the middle. There's your mirror. So Z is 146. Now if Z is 146, what must X be? Well, you got one of two ways you can get the value of X. If you go diagonal, it has to be 180. Or, I'll draw it this way. Yep, 180 minus 146. So that's 146 plus, well, or you do the subtraction. What's 180 minus 146? 34. So X is going to be 34. You get that because 180 minus 146. So there was two ways you can get that. Okay, questions up to this point? So again, if you're between the parallel lines, you're supplementary. Go diagonal. You're also supplementary. All right, questions before we continue? And again, these might be notes you might want to put on your one page of notes, front and back. Okay, I think that's it for this problem. All right, here we go. Next couple problems. Okay, we just talked about this moments ago. Here's your isosceles trapezoid. Okay, your mirror goes right down the middle. Horrible. There's your mirror. But these two angles are on the same side of the mirror. So, are these two going to be congruent, or do they add up to 180? The same side of the mirror. Careful. Why?
Because they're both on the same side.
Same side. Mirror. They're on the same side of the mirror. If they were opposites, like if this was over here, then yeah, you set them equal. The same side of the mirror, that means they add up to 180. That's something to think about. Look at where you're. So then your setup will be the following. (13x minus 7 plus 8x minus 2 is how many degrees? So what must the sum of the two angles add up to be? Oh, you need an extra calculator? Why don't you say something? All right. So what must the sum of the two angles add up to be? 180. So here is your setup, ladies and gentlemen. There's your setup right here. Okay, now are we at a point where we can solve for the x? Bless you. Oh, okay.
No, I know you did. No, I take that back.
Yep. So yeah, there's same side of the mirror, add up to 180.
For the 14 degrees, would I have to put 8 times whatever x is minus 2?
Let's see. Yeah, that's exactly what you do. Very good. think I know what it is. Mm-hmm.
You gonna tell me after time?
All right. Yeah, so Andy, you're right. Once you get the value of x for 14a, you can solve for the next problem, 14b. So
Is this right?
good work, man. That's good work.
So, I have a question, so, because I would get confused with the one you say, when I combine, like, things, it's always gonna be added, like, you always add it, or does it depend on?
Depends on the sign. But I see, yeah, if it's same side, you don't change the sign.
Okay, but then if it was like. the
Opposite.
equal- Yeah, and then you have to change the side, right?
Right. So, no, that's good work there.
Yeah, it's good, on this, the other one, I understand more, but it's just the equal one, I sometimes get confused with powers and stuff like that.
All right, but that's something, take a note. But yeah, you got, that one, you get it out of the park. All right. You gotta tell, since you're on the same side, you don't change that sign. Don't change the signs. Don't change those signs. Yeah, if they're opposite sides, then you change the sign. With the same side, do not change that side. All right, Joshua. Let's write that problem down. You got it right there. All right, Catherine, you write that down? All right, how we doing, everybody else? All right, you got it. But remember, on the test, you're not gonna be able to help each other. Heads up. Okay. Since we're on the same side, don't change the sign. Yeah. That's what, since we're combining like terms on the same side of the equal sign, do not change that sign. You got that one, Des? All right, that's good. Yeah. So yeah, you got a right answer. So now, what that name? Oh, you did. I'm sorry, I did not see that. Okay. Forget my last statement. All right. Again, here, this is where we need to talk. Some of us, since they're on the same side of the equal sign, combine alike terms. Same side of the equal sign, you gotta combine those like terms. So rather than 5x plus 5, you're really 21x minus 9 equals 180. And then at this point, you're able to solve out of x. When you do the work, you should get x. Should get x equals 9. So this is to beware. Same side. Do not change your signs. Do not change signs. Don't change those signs. So since the -7, -2 were on the same side of equal sign, don't change. Just combine. And then once you get here, now you just took back to a two-step equation. Again, you should get 9 for the result of x. You should be able to do those steps at this point on your own. All right, questions on how we got the 9? Again, this is where you should be able to take care of this on your own. If you're not sure what to do, then we're going to talk during either a stinger or after school. All right, take your x equals 9. A lot of you went ahead with this. And then you just did angle y is 8x minus 2. Okay, so what do we get for angle y? Everybody get a value for angle y? Yep. Quite a few of you already had that one. Don't be shy. 70 degrees. And then if need be, angle x would have been 110. Good. So yeah, that would have been 70. 110. All right, good job. Questions? All right. We'll move on. If we're good here, then we're going to move on. If you're not good, you need to say something. Again, sometimes draw that mirror. It's on the same side of the mirror. You know where you have to add up to 180. 110 plus 70 is 180. Again, there's your mirror. Boom. All right, here we go. Okay, next one we're going to talk about, we're not really going to go too much into detail. And that was the kite. Oh, I did make a typo here. Cross out where it says angle K, angle K, angle K. Cross that out. Let me make this smaller. All right, with kites, the congruent angles are the ones that are gonna go across from each other. So basically, you don't see it. You kind of have a mirror taking place right there. The only reason why I say you have the mirror here, it's more for this angle that's directly across from angle M. So angle M is 88. That means angle K must also be 88. Because there's your mirror right down. This is going to be 88. So angle K right away. But beware. Angle J, you have to be careful because a lot of people think, oh, this is 120, that means angle J is 60. That's not true. That is what you need to do to get angle J. Well, what must the sum of all four angles equal? So J plus K plus L plus M. They must all add up to how many degrees? Any four-sided polygon. Think about a square, rectangle. What's the sum of your four angles inside? Or parallelogram, or even a trapezoid? 360. That's a 360. Well, we know three things. Angle M and K are the same. So 88 plus, well, what's angle L real quick? How many degrees is angle L? It's right on the diagram. It's how many? 120. Angle M is the same as angle K, so they're both 88. This is the key piece right here. Because for any quadrilateral, sum of your four angles will be 360. Sum of four angles equals 360. So that's something you definitely need to know. So when you add that value of J is going to be 64, because when you add 88, 120, and 88, the other 88, you should get what, 294? 296.
It's 360 minus 296.
Yup. There you go. And again, these are the things. These are the things to think about. Oops, I should put J. So J is 64. I'll fix that up a little. Because remember, K and M are going to be congruent. To get that angle J, you got to add all three of them up and then subtract from 360. That's the key step for this last problem. All right, questions on this problem? I'll let it sink for a moment. And then we're going to be dealing with rectangles. And then I might add one problem if there's time. Your stinger is the day after the test. Okay. Yeah. So your agenda ready. All right. So whatever you missed, get from neighbor or school, Jake. Okay. Next thing we're gonna, yeah. Let me just take it real quick. Let me just sign it real quick, since it's only because it's new quarter. Okay, there you go. Yeah, you got it. All right. Okay, for this type of problem, here's our rectangle ABCD. ABD, oops. All right, ABD is this angle right here. That's ABD. DBC is that angle right there. Now, what type of angle is originally formed? What type of angle was formed here? Look at your overall big angle. What type of angle was formed when we combine these two? Oops. We combine these two smaller angles. What type of angle? What type of angle was formed here? Who would like to take a guess as to what type of angle do we see forming right here? Think of any rectangle. You have any rectangle. Any rectangle on a plan. It's a rectangle. What type of angle? What type of angle is that formed right there? Right angle. Yeah. That forms a right angle. So what must the sum of these two angles add up to be? 90. Very good, Alex. That's a right angle. Sum of the two angles is 90 degrees. It forms a right angle. And that forms a right angle, ladies and gentlemen. That's something very important to know. So, what would be the setup for this problem? What must the sum of those two angles add up to be? 4x plus 15 plus 13x plus 7. What's the sum of those two angles? They have to add up to how many degrees? Well, it forms a right angle. Alex, say it one more time. How many degrees is a right angle? 90. What's your setup? Remember, right angles are always 90 degrees. That's always, always, always. Now, are you at a point where you can solve for the x? Can we solve for x at this point in the game? Yeah, now be careful. Are we changing signs or are we just going to combine first? You got to combine first. So we have a 4x. We're going to combine the 4x with what other term? Which other term has the x? 13x. Plus, well, the 15 we're going to combine with which other term? The 7. So then what's 4x plus 13x? What's 4 plus 13? Your calculators. That's your calculator, right, Valerie? Is that your calculator? Try again. And then what's 15 plus 7? Yep. Now, we're at a point where we can solve for the x. Now you're just down to a two-step equation, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll let you solve for that x real quick. Hey, let's write this down, Joshua. Come on. Let me know when you get that value of x. Let me check it over.
I got
That's a winner. And then I think you're allowed to do the other two problems on the last page.
for the you have to the x 7, 15.
Yeah, that's gonna be for one of those angles, and then the other one. And you're on the right track. I believe that's what you have to do next. Andy. Make sure.
I got 59 and 31. 59 for the 4 times 4 plus 7, 4 times 4 plus 6, 31.
Yeah, those are winners. Yeah, you did a good job there. Yeah, because once you get your X, then you're going to be able to do the last two problems on the last page. So once you get the X, oh, hold on, I want to see something. Is that supposed to be an X for the 22? All right, that's when we take our answer. All right, you got that X value. Good job, guys. Okay, you got your X. Good. And then once you get the X, you can solve for the last two problems on the back if you haven't done them already. Because again, the goal is once you get to a point that you know how to solve for the variable, then you should be in a good spot where you don't have to do any more work. Most work you need to do is get the setup. You got them. Yeah, I know you got the last two. And if there's time, I want to talk about one other thing. I don't know if we're going to have enough time to talk about it. If not, we might talk a little bit about it on Friday. Or I might just put, no, hold on to it. That's your study guide for your test. You don't want, yeah, you're going to want to hold on to that because that's going to help you make your one-page notes front and back. Although I did not say put it away yet because I might have something else for you to do. How'd you do with that one? Okay. So how are you going to get your X? What's your next step? Since you can't combine those two terms, what do you have to do? I'll give you about another minute. That's at most. But I do want you to bring this back next time. Just for like 2 minutes next class. So I do want to talk about a problem that how I presented it in class might be a little different than how you're going to see it on the test. All right. So given this 17x plus 22 is 90, what did we get for the value of x? All right. I got an x equals 4. That is correct. I'm not going to go over that part because you should know how to get that by now. The biggest concern is getting from here to there. Diagram, setup. That's what you need to worry about the most. Once you're here, combine your like terms, boom, solved. You're done. So again, this part right here, same side. Don't change those signs, just combine. All right, we're going to take the x equals 4. Found out x equals 4. So then just plug it in. DVC. Oops, this angle right here. So basically it's going to be 13 times 4 plus 7. Okay, when we do that math, what's the final result? What do we get? I know quite a few of you got it, so don't be shy. Say that answer. 89 degrees. Okay, similarly, Again, use that x equals 4. Plug it in. 31. 4 times 4 plus 15. It's 31 degrees. You could have also done it this way. You could have said 90 minus 59. You could have done it that way too. You got to take it outside. But next time they really need to call the school. That's the other way you could have done it. Because you knew this was 59, the grand total was 90. 90 minus 59 is 31. All right, questions? Okay. Last thing I want you to do real quick. I'm going to talk about this problem right here. You know what? I don't know if I'm going to have enough time. So what we're going to do, basically, I'm going to fill this in for you. But just beware where we're getting these numbers. Because on the test, you're going to have a very similar problem. So if you want this one, you can copy. But I want you to understand how we get these problems. We did a similar problem to this earlier. You don't have to, you can copy this in your notes at another, like later on, but do beware. I may review this briefly on Friday. Again, reason being, just your general rules. Remember, bisectors. Diagonals are bisectors. Mirror reflection. These angles are all diagonals perpendicular. And then sum of your triangle is 180. So that's another way to think about it. And basically, once you get this side, you also get the other side. And then don't forget, if you need the entire angle, if you only have one, you got to double it. So I'll leave it up for you. You can copy it at your leisure. You can take a photo of it as well. That might be the one time I'll allow you to use a phone. I will post it again in Schoology. So at this point,